If you're ever afraid of credit cards, if you ever heard how dangerous credit cards can be, I promise you they're not as scary as you think. If you ever wonder how to earn points or free travel, well, this is gonna be the video for you, because I'm gonna give you a credit card breakdown, a one-on-one back to the basics of what a credit card actually is and how to use them. And in this video, you should understand exactly what a credit card is and the power that a credit card has, but also the dangers that credit cards have. So let's start with, what is a credit card? A credit card is basically a short-term loan. Every time you swipe your credit card, a company pays the merchant. So when you swipe your credit card at McDonald's, Chase Bank or Chase is going to pay McDonald's. Or if you swipe your card at a gas station, the credit card company is going to pay for that gas. They're going to pay $60 for that gas, and you don't got to pay nothing. Then at the end of the month or after 30 days, you're going to get a statement. The statement is going to show the full amount of money that you spent on the credit card that month, and you're going to have two options. Either you pay it off in full, or you pay monthly installments. And with monthly installments come interest. Interest is how the bank makes its money. Just like a car loan, just like a home loan, there's interest on credit cards. But the interest rates on credit cards are 20, 30%. So it's absolutely ridiculous. And with these monthly installments, they're super low. So you can be paying this credit card off for years and years and years. And that's when people get in trouble. That is the dangerous side of having a credit card, and why some people say don't even touch them, or why some people say go touch them, go get a credit card, because you don't have to pay it all off in 1 month. You can pay for things that you really can't afford. So before we go more into what a credit card is, I kind of want to talk about the difference between a debit card and a credit card. Now, if you know what the difference is between a debit card and credit card, then you can skip this part. But a lot of people may not know. So a debit card is basically you're spending your money from your checking account. Say you open a Capital One bank checking account, they're going to send you a debit card. That debit card is going to have $0 in it unless you have money in your checking account. The debit card is attached to your checking account. When you swipe the debit card for groceries, or you swipe it for gas, money is going to come straight out of your checking account. It's going to pay whatever item you're getting with that debit card. Now again, when you swipe that credit card though, that Capital One credit card that you have to apply for, they're going to see what your credit score is. You're not paying for that. You're taking a short-term loan from Capital One, or short-term loan from Discovery. Now I did mention a billing cycle before. Basically every single month you're going to get a statement from your credit card company. Now this statement is going to include all the purchases on that credit card from that statement or that month, depending what it is. It's really a 30-day cycle. It could be from the 15th to the 15th of the next month. You know, let's say you spent $100 on groceries, $60 on gas, $40 on In-N-Out. Your statement is going to say $200. And the credit card company is going to give you a due date of when you need to pay this amount. Again, like I said, you could pay it in installments. You basically pay it in minimum monthly payments, or you pay it in full. What we want to do, especially if you're watching this video, subscriber or just someone watching this channel, we want to pay this card off every single month, because we want to start installing good financial habits. And we definitely don't want to pay 20 or 30% interest on our credit cards. So we want to pay these off every single month, because you want to make sure that you're spending within your means. You're going to get a limit on your credit card of $2,000, $3,000, $16,000. So we want to make sure that we're spending within our means, so when the statement does come out, we're able to pay this off every single month and not pay money and interest, because this money and interest is not going to your total balance at all. You're really just paying the company. It's like in the stock market, when you get a 7 to 10% rate of return from the market, the credit card company will be getting a 16 or a 20 or 30% rate of return from you. So we want to avoid that at all costs. And one of the biggest misunderstandings that people have when it comes to credit cards is your statement balance and your minimum payment. Say your statement balance is $1,000, but your minimum payment is $15. The minimum payment is the smallest amount you could pay without being considered late. But again, paying the minimum means that the remaining balance is accruing that interest. 30, 40% interest rates. Maybe not 40, but definitely a 30 or 25% interest rate. That's what the total balance is accruing. And this can keep you in debt for years. And trust me, this is a lot of people. A lot of people are paying minimums on their credit cards because they lived over their means, or they had an emergency. And I had a video recently that I did about how to protect yourself from emergency and how to not fall into this credit card trap for when an emergency happens. Instead of paying the minimums, we need to aim to pay the entire balance off so we're not paying extra money in interest. This 3-letter word or this acronym is called APR. APR stands for your annual percentage rate. I talked about this earlier, and a lot of these credit cards have a 20 or 30% interest rate on these cards, and that is incredibly expensive. I mean, like I said before, you're going to get like a 7 to 10% rate of return in the market. We're talking double or even triple the amount of interest that you're going to be paying for these credit cards. And the easiest way to avoid interest is to pay this credit card off in full. In this video, you're seeing me say, pay off your credit card in full almost for every point. I keep saying it, and I want you to understand that you need to pay your credit cards off in full. So you need to live within your means, especially when spending on these credit cards, so that you don't end up like someone that has $10,000 or $15,000 in credit card debt, and then they go get another one and run that one back up as well, and they're paying all this interest when that money can go to building your investments. So to me, the APR doesn't even matter because I'm paying my cards off every single month. I don't care if I have a 50% APR. I'm still more than likely gonna get that credit card if I think that it benefits me or it has great points or great travel rewards. Because I pay my card off every single month, the APR really doesn't matter to me. And like I said before, a credit card has a limit. So your limit could be $5,000. So you're able to spend $5,000 in total on that credit card. Once you get to that $5,000, your credit card is considered maxed out, and you cannot go above that, maybe a little bit, but that'll be just from the interest. To be honest, you should never really get to that max. I mean, if you're spending $5,000 on a credit card, then you better be bringing in $5,000 or $6,000 or even $10,000 and pay that thing off every single month. So it's simply the maximum available. As you continue to hold this credit card, this is something that gets a lot of people. The credit card company is going to increase your maximum. So they said, you've been a great customer to us. You've held this $5,000 maximum card for a long time. We're gonna give you $5,000 more to increase your maximum to $10,000. Do not fall for that trap of increasing your spending because now you have $10,000. No, we want to treat our credit cards like a debit card. We only want to spend as much money on our credit card as we have in our checking account. So if you have $2,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 coming into your checking account, then we want to make sure that we're not spending more than that on our credit cards and considerably less than that on our credit cards. So we're not falling for the trap of paying this interest. And if you do pay more on this credit card that you don't have in your checking account, then you're going to pay that minimum. And we don't want to pay that minimum. We want to pay the full amount every single time. So only spend what you already have in your bank account. Now, some of you may have heard of credit card utilization. Now, credit card utilization is basically the percentage of the credit that you've used for your account over all spending when it comes to credit. So for example, if your credit limit is $10,000 and that's talking through all your credit lines, and you spend $2,000, then your utilization rate is 20%. We want to keep this utilization rate at a low percentage. So for me, I don't spend a lot of money monthly, but I have a pretty large limit because I have a couple credit cards, but I don't spend a lot on them. So my utilization rate is low, which in turn keeps me having a good credit score. Having a good credit score is okay. It's not the most important thing you can have. I mean, it's good to have a good credit score if you want a house or if you want a car that you can't fully afford, but having a good credit score doesn't really do much for you. It doesn't really move the dial much. It doesn't really build your wealth much. It's just something to have. I mean, you can't really determine someone's finances off their credit score, because someone can pay the minimum on all their credit cards and have $15,000 credit card debt, but they can still have a pretty decent credit score. So keep your utilization rate low. Try not to max out your credit cards, because maxing out your credit card is also going to make it hard for you to pay them off every single month. Now, reward. This is why I use credit cards for all my spending. It's the reward. Right now we're going through the JetBlue card. If you spend $1,000 over like 3 or 4 months, then you get 60,000 JetBlue points, which can in turn buy you a flight. I think the value is like $700. So if I spend $1,000 of spending that I was gonna spend anyway, I spend money on gas, I spend money on going out to eat, I spend money on groceries. I was already gonna spend $1,000 a month anyways. I'm just gonna go get this credit card and I'm gonna get these points, which can go towards a flight of my choice. So we want to go to DR, so we got this credit card to get this reward points, to get this introductory offer, and it's working out great. And there's cash back, so if you spend enough money on your credit cards in certain categories, you'll get points, and you can convert those points to cash back to paying the credit card off at the end. Like I said before, you want to treat your credit card like a debit card. We want to just spend what we normally would spend in a month or we would normally spend in a year on our credit card. Don't just go out there buying things that you can't afford with your credit card. You have to be very smart with it, or you're going to end up paying this 20 or 30% interest. And a lot of times these points may not be worth it. I mean, they're giving you 2% cash back or 2% points, or 1 point or 2x points if you spend your credit card at a grocery store, or spend your credit card on anything. You're getting 1 point per dollar. So if I go and buy some chips, the chips are $5, and it says I get 1x point for each dollar I spend, I'm only getting 5 points. And I mean, to get like something good, a flight or something, you have to have like 20,000 points, 30,000 points to get, you know, $200 off of your flight. So at the end of the day, getting a credit card for points is not gonna move the wealth bar that much. It's not gonna build your investments. It's not gonna like change your life. Just a little boost, a little cherry on top, especially if you know how to use your credit card. So if you're not a credit card person, don't go out here getting a credit card for the points, because at the end of the day, if you're not paying it off every single month, then the points are neglected. It literally just X's out, because now you're paying 20 or 30% interest on a card that's supposed to give you points. And before I end the video, I have a few more things to talk about, but I want to talk about common mistakes. One big mistake is people spend the money that they don't have. This is why I want to use credit cards like a debit card. Only spend what you have in your debit account or what you have coming in every single month. Also, people will make minimum payments. Making minimum payments on your credit card will ensure that you'll be in credit card debt for more than likely the rest of your life. Also, missing due dates. Missing due dates will ensure that you're going to be paying this 20 or 30% interest, which we know is very, very bad. I mean, car loans are at 5%. Home loans are at 7%. Credit cards are at 20 or 30%. 3x those numbers. Want to make sure that we're not missing minimums, because we're going to be paying interest. You could also be paying penalties on these cards if you're missing your due dates, and the points that you were meaning to earn will be completely negated because you're paying minimums on this card, and it's just not worth it in the end. Also, maxing out your credit cards. You should really never max out your credit card unless your maximum is $2,000 and you bring in well over that or just above that, and you're paying that off every single month. But you should never max out your credit card, because these credit card maximums are $10,000, $15,000. And I mean, I just don't see where or how you could spend that much money in a month, especially if you're a normal person, a W-2 worker, unless you're working in real estate and you're spending money on your credit cards in real estate and paying that off with the proceeds from your investments or whatever it is. I just don't see how someone can max out their credit card to a point where they can't even pay it off. That means you're living outside of your means, and you also don't have the protections in place to help you for when emergencies happen. Also, applying for too many credit cards at once could hurt your credit tremendously by applying for too many credit cards at once. So apply for one. Take some time. If you're doing it for a reward, get that reward first. Make sure you're not paying this annual fee on this card forever. If it comes with an annual fee, you want to downgrade these cards. You're not paying an annual fee on your credit cards, especially if you're not using it. And finally, using credit cards to fund a lifestyle that they can't afford. We don't want to use credit cards to live like the Joneses, because trust me, it can be easy to do, especially when your credit card maximum is $10,000 or $15,000. We do not want to just live a life that we can't afford just because of our credit cards. Treat your credit card like a debit card. Only spend the money that's coming in. So me personally, I use credit cards, like I said, as a debit card. I spend it on almost everything, and I pay it off every single month. If I see a good introductory offer that a company has, like JetBlue, then I'm gonna go get that credit card, spend on it for the month, or spend on it for a few weeks or a few months, and then once I'm done with that, I go back to my bread and butter credit card that I love. That's super easy. It even helps track my budget, so I just go back to this one. It has a yearly fee, so I gotta make sure that I'm using the perks and the benefits that come with this credit card, so I can kind of negate that annual fee. I never carry a balance. I pay the card off every single month. I make sure I don't spend too much on it, so I gotta pull out money from my savings account to pay the credit card off. For me, credit cards are simply a payment tool. I've never looked at it as borrowing money or a short-term loan, which I think is a great way to look at it. That's what a credit card is, a short-term loan. But I've never really looked at it like that. It's just a way for me to spend money. I can spend it on my debit card, or I can spend on my credit card, but I'm paying it off every single month. I've never paid interest on any of these cards. I don't even know what the APR is on my current card. I know it's probably 20 or 25%, but to be honest, the APR does not matter to me because I'm paying these cards off every single month. This is what financially smart people do. They pay their cards off every single month, and they don't worry about the APR. So credit cards are good, and they can be bad, but it's all about how you use them. With great power comes great responsibility, and credit cards can have great power. They can have a lot of power. They can change a lot. whether that's for the better or for the worse. If they're used irresponsibly, it can become one of the fastest ways to fall into debt. And it starts slow, $500. You're paying the minimum. Before you know it, you're gonna be in debt $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 in credit card debt with a 30% interest rate, thinking that there's no way out of it. So to avoid that, you want to be sure that we keep these credit card balances low, especially if you're just starting out. No need to max out these credit cards because it's not worth it at the end of the day. So hopefully you guys have a good understanding of how to use credit cards wisely. And if you found this video interesting, found out some new information about credit cards, be sure to like and subscribe to my channel. Also, what's one question that you still have about credit cards? Leave that in the comment section below. And I'll see you guys in the next video.